that, or even special summons. So it's a really good card. It's also a limited edition rare, so it's nice. I run a Nightmare Wheel only because some people like to keep out strong monsters for almost a whole game. So what this lets you do is it's almost like a spellbinding circle, but during their standby phase they take 500 extra attack points, or 500 life points per standby phase of theirs. So it's really good. The monster can't change battle position or anything like that. It can't attack again. I also run a ultra rare, I believe it is, spellbinding circle. This one has a different effect than most spellbindings. Basically, it lets you, let's say your opponent wants to tribute the monster that's attached with spellbinding circle. This then goes to that monster instead of being destroyed. So it's a really good spellbinding circle, different from all the rest. So as you can see, I also use Curse Seal of Forbidden Spell. You can ditch a spell card when your opponent plays a spell card, and any other cards like that are banished. So, and my last bottomless, I knew I had to. So, and now we got our spell cards. So, I run 2 Magical Dimensions. It works good for getting out a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, or even Buster Blader out. Oh, no, my bad. Only spellcasters. So basically, what you'll do is you'll you activate this card, tribute a spellcaster type monster like Old Vindictive or something, and you're then able to special summon another spellcaster type monster, and at the same time destroys one of your opponent's monsters as well. So that works really good with getting rid of monsters that your opponent has that you don't want. I'd suggest 2 MSTs, Mystical Space Typhoons. That way you can destroy any face down cards, like any trap cards or spell cards that you don't want them using later on in the game. So that's good too. A Monster Reborn, just like my Call of Haunted, in case you got something in the graveyard you might need, maybe a Dark Magician or something like that. I'm also running a Terraforming. You'll see later on why. Basically, this card will let you get a field spell card out. Terraforming is really good for that, well known. Heavy Storm for any extra cards that your opponent might have face down, maybe a Mirror Force or something, so destroys all spell and trap cards. Downside is it destroys yours as well, so if you're going to use it, make sure you got nothing on the field valuable that you want. A Polymerization for the Dark Magician and Buster Blader, so you can get out your Dark Paladin. I'd suggest also siding a Fusion Sage or something like that in your side deck. Magicians Unite is a good card as well. It lets you, basically lets you, if you have 2 spellcaster type monsters on the field, what you can do with those is one of them gains 2,000 attack, and the other one can't attack. So it's really good for like a weaker monster, like a, let's say, I don't know, let's say maybe your Sage of Stillness or something like that. If you're afraid you don't want it to be destroyed, so this card works well for that. And my Magical Citadel and Daimyon. This card's really great. Basically, it has its own it can't be destroyed as long as you got a spell counter on it. Also, it helps you get the spell counters you need for like cards like Skill Dark Magician or other cards you need. Because if you just take the spell counters off this card, it goes to that card instead, which is really good. So I don't run it in Daimyon myself, but I like the Citadel because it works out good for my spell cards. Next up is Dark Magic Attack. Really good for, it's kind of like a Heavy Storm, but only works for your opponent's side of the field as long as you have a Dark Magician on the field. So that works good too. And mine's ultra rare, I believe. Nice. Book of Eclipse. I usually use this when my opponent's going to attack or something like that. I'll flip this card so all their monsters are switched to face down defense position. At the end phase, they have to draw for each card that was in face down defense. The cards are then flipped during the end phase back to the original positions. So I also run a Dark Hole. You never know when you can need this card. Let's say your opponent has a lot of monsters on the field. You don't know how to take care of them, and you just used up most of your trap cards to stop the attacks. So use your Dark Hole, and there they go. Next up, I have a couple cards from my side deck. I side cards like Alchemist of the Black Spell. Basically has an effect where you can switch them from attack to defense position, and you gain a spell counter on one card. Works well with Daimyon, and he has a pretty good defensive 1800 too. I also have my secret rare Dark Magic Curtain. This works good if you're trying to get out a Dark Magician quickly early in the game, so you can get out your Paladin early. On the downside, you have to pay about half your life points, so that's the bad thing if your opponent has like a direct attack monster or something. I also use Magical Restoring. This lets me take 2 spell counters and bring back either a Buster Blader or a Dark Magician. So this card works really well with that. So that's basically my Paladin deck, side deck, and then deck. And that's just an easy rough draft on how to make a 45 card Dark Paladin deck. I wouldn't go anything past 45 cards, only because it'd be hard to get what you need right away unless you have a lot of support draw cards like Pot of Advice or even a Pot of Duality, which I don't have. Pot of Duality would work really well in this deck as well. So you can also run a couple Reckless Greeds if you like, but I would be really careful with that. And that's my deck, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.